be.
Good. I shall type good luck, have fun. Just shout it.
Have fun! You're meant to be having fun!
You will be having fun, or else.
Okay.
Welcome to Game 5, Group C. We got Thy Ladras, St. Just, Chronox, Zephyrum, and Zero.
Wow, this is a hilarious map to finish with. No silicon. Very limited carbon.
And they haven't been too generous with the old steel either. Sorry,
Yeah, this is pretty horrendous. Whoever found first
wins.
as Nomad could well just win. Oh, there's no silicon there. Don't forget that idea. But whoever found as expansive in the bottom right corner is probably just going to win. But there is ice.
You could crush a huge patch, couldn't you? That would be so funny.
Yeah.
Just crush the lot, say no, it's mine, bugger off.
There is a triangle of carbon in the north, but there are also underground nukes to bear in mind.
Oh, he didn't kill it.
Horrible.
He didn't crush enough.
Didn't crush enough.
That's outrageous.
Wow, so Thaladris has crushed enough water to go straight to level 2. And so,
but the shit,
interesting.
The iron, right? Zero needed to crush all of that iron, and then he could have claimed a lot of it, got straight up to HQ2, and then claimed all the bits that he didn't crush, and he could have his steel mills on all sorts.
Steel mills on, never sell until just,
Massive
just yet to found.
Right, power is going to go through the roof because Chrono is going to ship all of that iron up north.
Oh wow! Okay, St. Justice, I imagine, panicked a little bit because this is a horrible map, and put a scavenger in range position. Probably a better scavenger would have been further towards the right, the top right, where there's a triangle of carbon.
Yeah, anywhere there, and then you've got the aluminium, you've got the water, and the carbon right next to you.
That's actually a fairly viable spot. This scavenger might prove to be pretty good if Zero doesn't just run away with it.
Yeah, Zero would be running away with it a lot more if he'd crushed all of that. But whoever gets into power is going to be... I mean, Ladras has just gone into the wrong things. To food is not a great move. Not a great move at all, unfortunately. Where's his other claim? I can't find it. Oh, he's still got 3.
3 to do.
Oh, I see.
I can see why people panicked. Oh, he's going to go for wind turbines on some very strong, which is probably a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, he's going into more food though, which I don't think is the right thing to do. It's going to make some money for him, but steel, you need steel to upgrade. But then iron. And these steel mills should have been on iron. Yeah, Zero's... Oh, I'm frustrated on his behalf. So just going into power again, and we got a surplus. Well, power's not going to be so important, so Chronox isn't going to hurt so much from shipping all this iron up. Let's have a quick look at how much it's costing him.
Oh, Jesus, I hadn't quite realised that was half going.
1.2 power a second just to move his steel. So that's costing him 120 bucks just to move the steel. Sorry, just to move the iron.
And the iron's not even worth much yet.
Wow. It's never going to be cost effective. It's just a huge drain around his neck.
Unless he can squeeze in a pattern lab, but then there's nothing that's profitable enough to get the money up for a pattern lab and a hidey hole for it.
Yeah, we need to talk about HQ2 power pattern labs, which is always a bad idea.
Yeah.
Never a good idea. There's maybe 2 or 3 situations in the whole game which would justify building a HQ2 pattern lab. If you're a new player, stay away from it.
Yeah, it's only for the new or the idiotic. Because I like a HQ2 pattern lab.
Yeah, no, it's wrong. Don't do it.
If you're doing power scientist, my trademark, I want to be doing that.
That's an advanced strategy. Learn to play the game first. You got to do the basics down. Which, at this point, for Ladras would be steel. Some kind of steel. Or even Chem Labs. But, there we go. It's just, well, kind of stalled out because he went into HQ2 power, so he's not actually making any kind of money to enable him to buy his glass.
Oh, that's interesting. What's going on there? Oh, he's mutinied one of these wind turbines. Good. I was wondering why there was split power.
Yeah, let's take him back again. I mean, St. Just needs it because that's the only source of money he's likely to see. And with glass going up again, the most important thing is, as soon as you go from HQ level 2, buy your glass or buy your electronics. Immediately, when you're at HQ2, start buying the next upgrade. You need to get to HQ3 so quickly. That is the key to having a good game, is as quick as you can get to HQ3.
There's another little thing is we've got an electronics colony, and I don't think anyone's in a position to really make electronics, so it's quite a good idea to just invest any cash you've got lying around in whatever the colony's demanding, just to make a little bit of extra. And of course, if that's your upgrade resource for our robots, it's a good way of making some extra money.
Yeah, whatever you do, get your 40 glass or 40 electronics as soon as you go to HQ2. That's my advice. It's always worked quite well in the past.
So, Zero is... somehow, this iron price is really low, and I suppose that works against Chroniox, which hardly seems like a priority. So,
Yeah,
why
I don't know why Zero's managed to get away with getting HQ3 first. So he's had his iron nuked out, unfortunately. And he's going to have to get another one on the go.
Thing is, with adjacent iron like this, it's...
I don't like how he's got his claims, though. I mean, he needs to spread these claims out on the iron to, like, sort of claim it. Because then later on that can be rotated.
Exactly. And yeah, to the left of his base, he's got all these that are claiming nothing of value. I mean, are they trying to reach out towards the water to avoid shipping costs?
Well,
probably not worth it.
I mean, one EMP or one power surge and all of his profitable buildings are shut down. Like,
yeah.
Less than, what, 90% of his buildings? They'd just be shut down immediately.
That said, he's first of the four.
Closely followed by St. Just, who's making good money out of his reactors. So I like to see triangles. It's a poor little farm there, just on its own. But he's making some money on power. He's making, power money, which is good.
Power is still nice.
Yeah, propped up a lot by Chronox with his massive shipping requirements. It's costing him still 1.2, still costing him $120 to ship that iron in.
And Thladris is making a move on Chronox, which is, I think, a sensible way. Yeah, Thladris.
Yeah, that power money is probably going to let him finish him off. I can't see Chronox being able to defend himself. He's kind of stuck in a little rut. That was about the best thing that could happen. Stopping his power money, but Thladris close to finishing this off.
It's an interesting move to be at HQ2 and attempt something like that. Because now there's going to be a big target on Thladris' head, and he has no way of defending himself.
Yeah.
So he has no money.
That's true enough. The HQ, really well, yeah, he needed to be upgrading rather than pulling stunts like that. I mean, he's bought himself some time by boosting his stock price, but he needs to be at HQ level 4 as soon as he possibly can.
I guess the trouble is that because he's not producing steel, his upgrading is just unpleasant.
I don't see a route for him. Let's see a route.
But now Thladris is so juicy to pick up.
Yeah, he's not profitable to pick up though.
But Zero's what's going on? Zero's managed to get himself in serious debt by just not bothering with power. It looks like.
Oh, you're right.
Wowzers!
No
It's
power.
all happening here.
There's one. We go. One EMP
Mm.
takes out all of his production.
Eesh. And then you've got another tip, top tip. If you get to HQ level 3, think about power. Generally a good rule of thumb. Sometimes you want to do it earlier, sometimes you can. This is definitely not a game where you could.
The engineers have advanced
Yeah,
on production.
definitely need to think about power because it was always reasonably high, wasn't it?
Mm.
Zero didn't think about power, and now he's paying for it with a disgusting bond rating.
Disgusting.
Wow.
Disgust me, Zero.
The problem is, there's going to be an interest tick soon, and the D bond is 30% interest tick, so that debt's just growing exponentially.
And the power price continues to rise.
Yeah.
Baltic colony expanded.
I mean, Philadros is enjoying it because he's breaking even on power, but St. Just is going to be making a little bit of power money at some point. You would hope.
Wow.
His 2 pleasure domes have wiped out any power money you could hope to make.
And power is just by far the most profitable thing.
He's losing $200 a second on both of those pleasure domes.
Oh, Jesus.
We're not surprised, just disappointed in
God.
That's... One is
Whoa.
fine, but 2 pleasure domes, just no need. He needs to do something about his power, I suggest, because...
Something else as well, though. We just had someone plonking their black market on a goon with spies at only 2k. It's definitely worth using those.
I don't think I've seen any spies used today. Oh, no,
Oh, wow.
maybe one or two in one game, but the last couple of games, nobody's in. There we go. Look, Zero has had
Zero
interest.
isn't. That's horrible. 240k debt. Now, so if you were in this position, it's like a position I've been in many times, you want to just buy up your own stock. Take advantage of the one good thing of this situation, which is stock price is super cheap, and just buy it all. Buy it all. The first thing you do, especially once you're up to HQ5, just buy it all, and then just do everything you can to pay off your debt. And you can end up being in quite a strong position if you do that. But also, if other people notice that you're doing that, and your stock price is this cheap, they can just see. K Coda says this map was just wow. Yeah, it is pretty. It's a cool map to finish with.
Well,
Certainly.
Zero's got his hands on cold fusion, so he's using all his water to power himself, which is great. But he needs, if he could get some solar panels down, that's what he needed to do.
They've been making 600. I mean, it's solar flare now. 636 a second.
He'd be paying
each.
his power off massively. I mean, that was a golden opportunity for him. He needed to stick down at least 2 or 3 solar panels.
Oh, and a superconductor would be lovely. He's even got the chem sat there doing nothing.
Well, the fact that he's got cold fusion paying all his debts, he's finally got some kind of power. Oh, no power.
The trouble is that the cold fusion's not going to touch his debt. No.
No, but any power money he made would, like, he's not having to power his empire because he's powering it on water. So, missed opportunity there, really.
Oh, another debt tick. Yikes, 72k on that one.
Yeah. I think Philadros could, well, he could probably clean up St. Just, because I think St. Just unwisely upgraded, and wow.
Oh.
Look at all these claims that St. Just has got on wind. That is a massive overcommitment, unfortunately.
Well, is it? Is
Well,
it?
I mean,
mean,
he's going to get bought out.
Oh right, yeah. It is.
But if he hadn't, those claims are away from his base and basically
Yeah.
really difficult and hard to use. Sorry. And we're going to see if Philadros, I'm pretty sure, is going to clean this up.
Wow.
Somehow.
Well, didn't see that coming.
No.
uh,
I think Zero's in a great position, but I think his debt is going to sink him before.
yeah, that's.
I think Philadros might just. Well, I don't know. He can threaten a majority
just-
buy.
Nothing's quite profitable enough, I think, apart from power, to deal with this debt, and Zero just seems to not be interested.
I think if Zero is making reasonably good money on his chems, making some kind of money on his... He needs to majority buy the Ladras.
Yeah, and sharpish.
Yeah.
Might even be better off selling out of himself a little bit.
If he has to
to
sell
do
out of
that.
himself to finish it, then that's what he needs to do. He needs to do that right now.
So he's on 90k, so he's 2.5 shares there.
Yeah, he's just got to go for it.
Amazing. This is
It's cash versus it's cash flow. Whoever's got the cash flow is going to come out on top. Come on, Zero, you need to start selling stuff down, you silly person.
Revolting colony
Sell
expanded.
everything. Everything must go. Come on. Oh, he's going to do it.
Optimization routine successful.
He's going to do it. Well, at least
well, that did not go how we thought.
what a game. Best game of tonight.
Very entertaining game.
This is
Nothing
fantastic.
standard about this one.
Nothing standard at all. You're absolutely
So-
right.
So, yeah, so Zero just needs to sell out of himself a
Yeah.
pip, and he's done it.
He certainly has. Which is
93k tick. Oh yes.
Oh, D plus 10.
Zero, the new game slayer.
Zero games. Honorary games there. There it is.
He's done it. Amazing.
What a game. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, wow.
St. Justo would have, to start with, would have made a pile of money on the wind if he'd have managed to stay in the game. But
Zero says, "How did I win?" And that is a good question.
he basically won because Chronox took those 2 iron. That is why
Yeah.
he won. You could,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you could trace it back to that point. 'Cause
Yeah.
that just power, after that power, well, never went below $100, did it?
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
I mean, if somebody had maybe got superconductor or something. Ladris made all his money on power, so just made a load of money on power. Let's see. Power. Yep, pretty much never dropped below $100. Wow.
Interesting one.
That was a great game to watch. End-to-end action there.
Yeah. KK Coda says he should have gone power instead of iron and mills. So, yeah. But as Morgan says, that's that long distance metal. I still think that in the top right there's a really good spot for a scavenger. Well, not good in the general sense, but good given this map. Having a scavenger in the top right with the triangle of carbon.
Yeah, definitely.
There was. You could even have had it at the top of the cliffs, but next to the aluminium potentially. Maybe looking at kind of power, but then how would you have been able to predict that power would have been so poor?
Yeah, but I mean, St. Just I think was the last found. So I'd have been looking if I'd have seen robots settle in. I'd have been knowing that all the iron was down south, which I mean, I know we said at the time that Zero should have crushed a lot more of that, then claimed as much as he could, put steel mills on iron just to prevent other people having it. But you're absolutely right. Scavenger up that spot would have been really good. There weren't really any other decent plays, though, were there? You had, I mean, maybe you could have had another scavenger in the crater, a little bit further for water and aluminium. So that's 1, 2, 1 on the iron, 3. So
yeah. So 2 scavenger spots essentially. and one very solid iron base spot.
Yes. Well, you could have had all the iron if you wanted it, nearly. But you know, I think there would have been a couple of spots that somebody could have exploited if they had to, but it would only have been 2 lows. I think if you played it right, you might have been able to get away with just single iron tiles remaining, which really is going to put a spoke in any other body that wants iron.
Also, something else for any newcomers that are looking at the black market. Very underused. I know it was a very strange game, but
It's a reasonably quick game, but yeah, you're absolutely right. The only thing that was popular were mutinies. I don't know.
I mean, they're very appealing to a beginner. They certainly were to me when I first started out, because a lot of them, they're just negative for other people, whereas that actually gets you something.
Yeah, that's very true. But,
yeah, I think that was one that deserves a replay, because that'd be very instructive. I think.
yeah, that's not a bad idea. Definitely go over it again. Right. I think pretty much wraps that up.
Sweet.
Good. Well, thank you very much, Peasant, for giving us a hand with the commentary.